A new era of X-Men has begun with the release of House of X issue 1, and that new era is very preoccupied with the importance of Omega Level Mutants, or rather Charles Xavier is with his greater plan. Now according to his files, the current priority for the mutant nation of Krakoa is to protect and nurture its greatest natural resource, Omega Level Mutants. In case you didn't know, Omega Level Mutants are defined as a mutant whose dominant power is deemed to register or reach an undefinable upper limit of that power's special classification. So today we are continuing our list of the top 10 Omega Level Mutants with a part 2. Now because there's only 14 Omega Level Mutants confirmed by Marvel's relaunch of House of X, we're including a few other characters who were previously considered to have been of Omega Level, or are considered beyond Omega Level, from alternate Earths as well. And be sure to check out the part 1 of this list too after this video. So with that in mind, let's get to it. And at number 10, Matthew Malloy. Charles Xavier once called Matthew Malloy the largest mutant power source Cerebro had ever registered. Malloy, who is from Earth 14923, can tap into extra-dimensional power sources that let him warp reality to his will. First appearing in Uncanny X-Men issue 23 and dying a handful of issues later in number 31, spoilers, Malloy has cosmic awareness, is capable of matter absorption, telekinesis, telepathy, can teleport, and can manipulate time. His mutant abilities manifested due to an emotional breaking point. Matthew had witnessed the death of his wife, who had been vaporized by a Skrull ship, while the two were in the middle of an argument. A year later, after his sister-in-law comforted him and told him she still saw him as her brother, he had an emotional breakthrough, which caused his powers to burst out of him. He lost control, which caused an eruption of energy and accidentally killed his sister-in-law. Awkward. S.H.I.E.L.D. would go on the hunt for him. He would kill Cyclops, Magic, and himself, then resurrect himself, visited the Jean Grey school, killed Emma Frost, and continued to accidentally wreak havoc. The Mutant Tempest would have to go back in time to prevent Matthew's parents from meeting, causing him to cease to exist. And at number 9, New Sun. Gambit on a regular basis is by no means an Omega Level mutant, but on Earth 9921 there is a different version of Gambit called New Sun, a mutant who, as a child, was raised by a government project called Alpha 1 and was molded into a mutant with an expertise and total control of his powers, something that kind of backfired for the government since New Sun destroyed the Alpha 1 facility. He has total kinetic control. He's able of manipulating kinetic energy at a molecular level, turning objects' potential energy into kinetic energy, which would then make them explosive. He has no blocks or restraints preventing him from using his powers on living beings and does not need to make physical contact in order for them to work. In addition to that, he can cause other beings to not move, or cause them to be unable to stop if they are currently in motion. And he can simulate other versions of energy by manipulating the kinetic energy present by increasing molecular agitation. He can also transform himself into an energy wave that allows him to travel through space and into other dimensions in the multiverse. Oh, and he managed to kill his own reality's version of the Phoenix. Eventually he sought out Earth 616's Gambit and helped him escape Antarctica after he was abandoned there by the X-Men. And in return, 616 Gambit became a bit of an errand boy for this alternate Earth self of his. Moving on to number 8, Mad Jim Jaspers. Mad Jim Jaspers is an insane mutant who hails from Earth 238 and has nigh omnipotent reality warping abilities. Created by Alan Moore, David Thorpe, and Alan Davis, he first appeared in Marvel Superheroes issue 377 in 1981, and later popped into Earth 616 in Daredevil issue 7 from 1983. On Earth 238, he was a British politician who waged a war on mutants, having an anti-mutant and anti-superhero stance despite being a mutant himself. This was as a means for him to eliminate his fellow mutants in order to ensure his supremacy. Eventually he lost his sanity and created a cybernetic construct called the Fury, which could track, hunt, and eliminate mutants and superpowered individuals, a tool that turned out to be incredibly efficient in its successful extermination of those individuals, for the most part. His powers consist of dimensional manipulation, time manipulation, genetic manipulation, invulnerability, healing abilities, necromancy, levitation, animation, blast powers, divine powers, reality manipulation, shape-shifting, super strength, and teleportation. He can survive without a physical body, and his powers on 616 actually exceeded his limitations on Earth 238, the latter in which his abilities threatened to engulf the entire reality and spread to other realities, consuming them. And at number 7, the Marquis of Death. The Marquis of Death was considered to be a mutant beyond Omega Level. and technically on his alternate Earth he was the most powerful mutant since he was the only mutant to have existed in that reality. He would teach Dr. Doom everything he knew, with Doom as his apprentice, and Doom would be responsible for killing him too. The Marquis, whose real name is Clyde Winsham Jr., hails from Earth 807128 and first appeared in Fantastic Four issue 562 in 2009, and died a handful of issues later. Capable of warping reality on a multiversal scale, he can travel between parallel universes, effortlessly obliterate pretty much anything, which also includes entire realities, and can create abstract entities who overpower the likes of Galactus. He could even control eternity, having the entity battle on his behalf. And that's a scary thought. Clyde essentially made himself the master of time and space. Thank God for Dr. Doom. And at 6, Proteus. Proteus is the son of Moira McTaggart, a mutant by the name of Kevin McTaggart, who can psionically manipulate reality. He can manipulate the energy around him at will, with his only limit being his own imagination. Having to live most of his life in forced seclusion, his powers are not to be taken lightly. He exists in a state of pure psionic energy, and has shown he is capable of possessing human bodies, although that usually ends poorly with the bodies of most beings he's possessed burning out within a few days, even a few hours. None of the individuals he's possessed in the past have shown capable of breaking free of his domination. When possessing, Proteus can access all of their memories and retains them even after he's left their body. There is one restraint though: those with metal in their bodies appear to be immune to his possession, like Wolverine, with metal being his only weakness as it disrupts his energy and can disperse his consciousness. He can manipulate reality by transmuting matter, and he bends the laws of physics. He can turn buildings into liquid, a vehicle into bees, which he then commands. He can strip a person of their mutant powers, reverse local gravity, open fissures in the earth, and painfully stretch individuals into liquid shapes. His abilities are contingent on his line of sight. If he shifts to a different thing to manipulate, his previous manipulation will typically warp back and return to normal. And at number 5, Monarch. Monarch, aka Jamie Braddock Jr., first appeared in Marvel's panels in Captain Britain issue 9 in 1976. He is the brother of Captain Britain, Brian Braddock, and Psylocke, Elizabeth Braddock. Jamie is capable of quantum reality manipulation, which allows Jamie to see the world as invisible string constructs. He can pull these to transform reality. Now he can only manipulate dense forms, with phased beings showing some level of resistance to him, and formerly he needed to be close enough to a target to touch the cosmic filaments it or they were composed of, but his range may now have grown. Now in addition to this, he has also demonstrated sorcery abilities, summoning extra-dimensional creatures and depicting mind control over others. He's proven capable of teleporting and, most horrifically, warping bodies into terrifying shapes. Yeah, no bueno. Moving on to number 4, Iceman. Now a lot of you guys mentioned Iceman and a few of our upcoming numbers in the comments below, so save them for last. Bobby Drake's abilities have really grown in power since he first appeared as one of the initial X-Men members in the X-Men issue 1 back in 1963. Iceman's Omega power is temperature manipulation, and while it's been stated that he's yet to tap into his full potential, the character's powers can potentially influence the ecosystem of the entire world. He can instantly decrease the temperature of ambient water vapor in his immediate environment, dropping it to below 0 degrees Celsius, which freezes it into ice. Now the ice doesn't break unless Bobby wills it to, and he can create an array of ice structures which include projectiles, shields, slides, and he has even crafted miniature cities before. He does not emanate cold, instead he decreases thermal energy, which he can also perceive in objects around him. And when Emma Frost possessed his body, we learned that he can do even more, like control all forms of moisture, freeze the fluids within people's bodies, and travel as liquid, solid, or gas. Up next, number 3, Hope Summers. Hope Summers first appeared in X-Men issue 205 back in 2007, and was the first mutant born after the events of House of M. Hope's ability is power manipulation. She can psychically manipulate and mimic the powers of other mutants, which is an ability that has unspecified limits currently, but mimics her victims' powers at their utmost capacity, which is pretty darn impressive. Her restriction of course depends on how close she is to the mutants that she's mimicking. And it's not only mimicry that she can do. She has proven immune to Rogue's lethal absorption powers, with her touch erasing all of the memories and powers that Rogue had previously absorbed. But she also cured her of the Strain 88 virus, so hey, not too shabby. Hope has also proven to jumpstart a newly emerging mutant power to an undefined extent, and she can redirect the force of magnetic fields into negative matter. Up next, number 2, Magneto. It should be no surprise that Magneto finds himself on this list. He was actually who Xavier, in his files in House of X1, used as an example when defining an Omega Level mutant versus a mutant with an Omega Level ability. I quote, "Both Magneto and Forge are the most powerful mutants of their power types on the planet, magnetism and technopathy, respectively. But what makes Magneto, and not Forge, an Omega Level mutant is that the upper limit of Forge's measurable powers could hypothetically be surpassed, and in fact has by multiple humans on the planet, while the upper limit of Magneto's power cannot be surpassed by any measurable fashion." End quote. So, what do those powers entail? Well, he can manipulate magnetic fields to achieve a wide variation of effects. The maximum amount that he can manipulate at one time is still unknown, although he's proven such feats as moving asteroids and levitating objects like a 30,000-ton nuclear submarine. His abilities extend to an atomic level, specifically the electromagnetic force responsible for chemical bonding, which has given him the power to manipulate chemical structures and rearrange matter. He can generate electromagnetic pulses and manipulate electromagnetic energy right down to the photons. He can turn invisible by warping light and can resist strong telepathic powers, which has often been explained thanks to his helmet, or because of his electromagnetic powers interfering with the attack, or just from his own willpower. Plus, he's a genius, with experience in fields that include genetic manipulation, particle physics, and engineering. He also once had the power of a magnetic personality. But as you can imagine, that kind of fell into obscurity compared to pretty much everything else we just mentioned. He was a charmer. I guess he still is. And last but not least, in at number 1, Storm. Storm's status as an Omega Level mutant is more of a recent revelation than some of the others on our list. Storm has the ability to manipulate weather, a psionic power that lets her control all forms of weather over vast territories, both on Earth and in extraterrestrial ecosystems. This entails modifying temperature, controlling all forms of precipitation, humidity, and moisture at a molecular level. She can generate lightning and other electromagnetic atmospheric phenomena, and can control atmospheric pressure. She can create tornadoes, thunderstorms, blizzards, and even hurricanes, and then dissipate that weather entirely to form clear skies. She can channel ambient electromagnetism through her body in order to create electric blasts. She can flash freeze objects or people, change atmospheric pollutants into acid rain or toxic fog, fly, of course, and even manipulate the air inside of a person's lungs. She can control natural forces the likes of cosmic storms, ocean currents, solar wind, and the electromagnetic field, along with the ability to separate water molecules into oxygen and hydrogen via electrolysis, which gives her the ability to breathe underwater. All in all, she is one of the most powerful mutants on Earth. Alright, there we have it, friends. Who is your favorite Omega Level mutant? Let us know in those comments below. If you dug this video, you guys know what to do. Hit that like button, spread the love, and subscribe to Top 10 Nerd if you haven't already. We'd love it if you guys stuck around with us some more. In the meantime, thanks for watching, friends. I'll catch you all in the next video.